Hey, what's going on everybody? It's Mike here and John here from AX Garage. Welcome back to the channel, and today we're back on episode 3 on our 2003 Acura CL Type S with a 6-speed manual transmission. John, what are we going to be doing today?
Well, as you saw before, Mike did the majority of the work underneath the hood here.
I did do a lot of work here.
You did. I came in a little assist, but you put in all the effort on this one. Respect.
You know, John makes fun of me a lot, but I'm actually putting a lot of work on this car.
You know, he may have been good before. He's starting to prove himself again. Yeah, I'll give you that. You're pretty good, you know? But so underneath the hood, we're pretty much done. What we have left in this project is the struts, and we're gonna conquer the front, then we're gonna go to the back, and that's what we're gonna knock out today. And then always, we gotta finish it off with a good 4-wheel alignment with our Hunter rack.
And talking about the shock in the back, is a little complicated. It's not like a traditional Honda.
Yeah, it's a little bit different. It calls for the rear shelf to be removed and the rear seats. We're gonna go ahead and pull out the rear seats and see if we gotta pull that rear shelf out. You know, we don't wanna have to see how brittle all the interior pieces are in here and see what we can do with it, but you follow along and you'll definitely get to see how it works out.
Let's get started.
What we have underneath the hood here is real basic. We have these 5 bolts here. 2 go through the strut bar, the other ones come straight through the strut tower. But first thing we need to do before we remove it here is get the wheels off and take the suspension apart underneath the car. Once we get that all loose, we'll take these bolts out, everything comes out. Then we're gonna go to our spring compressor and swap the spring and all the bushings over onto the new struts.
Ready?
All right, so we have this set up in our spring compressor. Something that it's really good to know about these is it's keyed in a certain location in the back. You see right here, this little divot here fits into the strut fork. So that lines up the bottom of the strut. Now the other thing that lines up is the strut mount. All of these bolts only have one way it can go through. So you have to make sure that you orientate your strut to your upper strut mount properly. So we have a way of taking the spring off that doesn't change the location of the spring. So we clamp it at the top, we clamp it here, and then we can remove the strut and put it right back in and not change our orientation. In other words, we won't have any fitment issues. All right, so here's our new strut, here's our old strut. We have to transfer over these pieces here. You got this here, you got this washer. Didn't come off as easy as I wanted to. And this is our bump stop and strut protection. There you go. Sometimes the way you can check to see the condition of the strut is if you can compress it and it pushes back out. This thing's barely moving. You can see it's going real slow. This thing's probably jamming up internally. There's internal valving. It gets a little rusty inside. The fluid doesn't flow as properly, and this strut is now binding. So let's go ahead and swap everything over. Everything will line up perfectly because we didn't move anything.
Look,
I can't do that.
it's what I do. It's what I do. You try to tell these folks, this is what I do.
This is what I do.
All right, so we are all done on the cabin, able to remove the back portion of the back seat without any issues and able to get to the fastener on top of the shock without removing the speaker shelf. So next up, let's go ahead and work on the bottom.
All right, so now we have the rears on the bottom to get to. Our bolt is only right there. It's no big deal, but while we're under here, there's a couple other things we saw. I know Mike maybe mentioned it before about this super high quality exhaust that's on this car here. I like it a lot. This is nice touch here. We're looking to see if we can't find this customer exhaust. It's, you know, it's not the easiest thing to come across. This works. Maybe an exhaust shop can do a little better job fitting it. But we also noticed that they have an aftermarket sway bar on here with, it's adjustable with 2 different links on it so that you can put it a little stiffer if you want. But for the time being, all we gotta do is pop this bolt, get the strut out, and we're on our way.
Ready? 1,
Yeah.
2.
All right, come on.
So we're all done with the shock. Now is 4-wheel alignment, but haven't driven this car yet, and this will be our first time driving it with a new clutch.
Well, it would scan if the VIN wasn't damaged, but we're already done with this car. All we gotta do is get the alignment done, and we'll go for a test drive. All right, so here's our rear, and like we always do, we start from the rear and we move ourselves forward. Now, even our cambers are pretty good. Now, some of these numbers might be a little bit off because, as we were just noticing, the tire size is off on the car. It has 45 series tires when the car calls for 50. All these numbers are based off of that. Either way, we're still gonna be able to get our tone to spec. Sometimes that affects some of our cambers, but we should be able to adjust this thing out and have it ride straight down the road.
All right, gents, we are here for our first test drive. I'm driving because, you know, I'm such a better driver than John.
That's what he likes to think.
I tell you what, though, this clutch is feeling really good right now.
I know. I did a really good job putting it in, didn't I?
Yeah, you did put a transmission in, you and Miguel. I gotta give you guys credit for that. But nothing like a brand new clutch and a perfect flywheel.
It is perfect too. Perfectly refinished at the local, what is it, the head shop? The machine shop.
I don't know how they even do it, you know, because, you know, have all the dampening, they're able to take it apart. I mean, I
think
don't really
they,
know how to
I
do
believe
it.
they lock it. I don't know how exactly, but I do know that I called them today and they offer two different prices. The prices for the dual clutch and the price without.
Yeah, I would imagine it's got to be put a lot pricier than the, you know, without.
A bit more involved, I would say.
Yeah. But I tell you what, man, no more oil leaks, perfect clutch, suspension's feeling great, the car track perfectly straight. You can't get better than that.
No, I mean, it does have one of Jonathan DeCandia's patented alignments on it, so.
Yeah, without my help, it's, you know, it's not gonna happen.
Well, you were watching me, so I feel like you were there.
I was supervising you to make sure you're doing a good job.
Thank you.
Make sure you're doing it right.
I hope I did it.
There's two ways to do it, the right way and the wrong way. When I'm around, it's the right way.
Well, there's a third way, there's my way.
Now guys, that's a great test, right? This 3.2 CL Type S offer performance and luxury at the same time, and with a 6-speed manual transmission, definitely take this car to the next level. In my humble opinion, this gotta be one of the underrated Acura on the market today. And this wrap up this episode. You guys like what you see, make sure to subscribe to the channel and go ahead and turn on that notification. My name is Mike, behalf of AX Garage. Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys next week.